Thank you so much, Joanne. Good morning. I am so excited to be here and helping to present this wonderful story. And first of all, my name is Karen Velasic, in case you don't know, and I have had the absolute honor and privilege of working with an intrepid group of young people to help tell the story. And you get to help tell the story as well. So in your programs are the choruses of some of the songs. We have a lot of familiar Christmas carols that we're going to be singing all together, but there's some choruses that you may not be familiar with, and so we're going to take a little time here and rehearse those now. First, I do have to tell you that Karen, it says in your programs that Karen Diamond is our accompanist, and you can notice that Karen is not sitting at the piano. She actually has the flu. And so we scrambled, and boy, I cannot even tell you how much we appreciate Joanne jumping in and stepping up. And thank you so much. So she's going to help us tell the story as well. First,
all right. So, official welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Honolulu's Pageant 2014. I would just like to thank you for taking the time to come today to visit us and to sort of see some of what we've been doing. Again, if this isn't quite enough for you, if you have other people in town, you're welcome to join us on Christmas Eve as well for another showing of the pageant, as well as lessons and carols. Again, I'm the Director of Lifespan Religious Education. At this point, if you could check into Facebook or Squarespace or I don't know what everybody's checking into, Twittering. I only check in on, here. And then silence your phone, please. So a big thank you to our directors, our volunteers, our parents, and our church staff. For specific thank yous, please see your program. There's a lengthy list. Speaking of programs, at the end of the show, if you could return your programs to the basket at the front, we'll be reusing them for Christmas Eve. And with that, I would like to say on with the show.
Christmas is a time to come together and share in the wonder of the season.
It is time when we try to give voice, shape, and form to our deepest beliefs and values.
And when we come to this place of worship, each of us brings our own feelings about Christmas, some positive, some negative.
Some of us come with joy and enthusiasm, bursting with energy and the Christmas spirit.
Some of us come with sadness and heavy heart, perhaps feeling loss of friends or family.
Still, others come with a measure of cynicism, wondering in their heart of hearts if we will ever have a place on earth and goodwill between all people.
However we come, we are here to be together and to worship together, and in so doing to draw strength from one another. Let us be fully present in this brief time, for Christmas belongs to all of us. We claim it in our preparations and our decorations, in our gift giving and our tree trimming.
Even the nativity story is ours, for it is a part of our history and culture through the rich imagery of this beautiful story. We can discover spiritual truths that are relevant even today. We simply need, like the shepherds, to have ears to hear and hearts to receive.
Let us begin with our celebration by singing one of the most joyful of all Christmas carols, Deck the Halls.
and I invite us at this point to rise in body and spirit and/or spirit. Here we go.
Fast away the
moment to look around you at the people in this room. Offer a little smile, let your eyes meet. As you look around, you will be reminded that it's in any family. We are in various phases and stages of life. All are valued here, for we understand that each stage of life contributes its own special qualities, from the enthusiasm and innocence of our very youngest to the experience and wisdoms of those just a little older. We light our chalice today in appreciation of the light that shines within each one of us, whatever our age, whatever our gifts, whatever our needs.
Follow the Star is one of the songs in our service today. The second verse speaks to what we bring to this life in general, and to this church in particular. The words as follows. And we come, too, with gifts of our own, as rich and as precious as gold, gifts of the Spirit and gifts of the heart, offering wealth untold. We bring nothing more valuable than these, our inner gifts, and our church is the richer of them. But alas, if bills are to be paid and our doors are to remain open, we must also give our monetary gifts. We will now take an offering in support of a place that the children in our pageant here chose, the Humane Society. I'm standing here calmly. The Christmas season is upon us. It is time for bright lights, festive songs, and outward celebrations. But for many of us, Christmas is also a time of inward yearning. Outwardly, we spend our considerable time and money preparing for all the festivities, buying gifts, writing cards, preparing foods, and decorating a tree. These are all a part of our Christmas preparations, and sometimes we feel the least bit conflicted by all of this. We want to make the holiday season as festive as possible. Yet we are often overwhelmed by the preparations, maybe even depressed by family obligations and expectations. In the midst of our frantic scurrying, perhaps we wonder if Christmas is worth all the stress and strain it often brings.
Still, most of us continue to participate to one degree or another. Why? Well, maybe just because it's tradition, and we feel obliged to be part of it. But that's not the whole answer. If we're honest, we might acknowledge that in our hearts we are ever hopeful that all these outward yearnings, preparations, will somehow feed our inward yearning for Christmas time. Most of us yearn for something deep and meaningful to happen, something that gives us inner joy and says yes to life, something that offers us hope. In the Christmas nativity story, we find rich and wonderful metaphors that speak to this yearning. Perhaps this is why we keep telling it year after year, for the story invites us to reflect on what we value in life. And at the center of the story lies a baby. Who is this baby?
For Christians, this baby is Jesus, the Christ child. He is both man and God incarnate, healer and miracle worker, Messiah and Savior of the world.
For others, this baby is Jesus of Nazareth, the man who became a great teacher, prophet, and social activist. He is the historical Jesus, one who changed the world with his ideas and his compassion.
But who or what else might this baby represent? Many Unitarian Universalists affirm the idea that the baby symbolizes all babies. The Christmas story reminds us that each new life is a gift, and we are responsible for nurturing and protecting that gift. This is a wonderful image, full of love, compassion, and a deep reverence for life. But looking further, perhaps the baby symbolizes even more. In our retelling of the story today, we invite some additional thoughts about the special baby, as well as the other characters in the story.
And so we begin with this question: would you like to hold the baby? This everyday expression is an invitation to nurture, to care for, to delight in, to take responsibility for another human being. And what is our response to such a question? Are we filled with delight? Do we experience a feeling of awe or protectiveness? Do we reach out with joy, ready for the responsibility? Or is it scary? Do we worry about dropping the baby or not doing it right? Do we worry the baby will cry or do something we feel unprepared to clean up?
Different emotions may surface along with different reactions, but to whatever your response, the question is really an invitation to reflect what is most meaningful and important in your life. It is an invitation to look at your values and how you live them. It is an invitation to acknowledge your spiritual side and nurture it. It is an invitation to embrace what you consider most sacred and holy. This baby is a powerful image. It represents our yearning for what is most precious in life, inviting us to give it our greatest care and attention, as we would a real baby.
During our pageant today, I encourage you to let the simplicity of the story speak to your own inner yearning. Christmas is a time to do that. Who among us does not long for love and peace and goodwill toward all people? Who does not yearn for a star to light our way? And who does not value the innocence and uncontrollable love of a newborn baby?
Whatever your interpretation of who or what this baby represents, the Nativity story offers a metaphor that is yours to embrace. It invites you to reflect your own ideas and feelings about life's deepest meaning. And above all else, it invites you to embrace hope, for hope lies at the bottom of every heart of every Christmas story. So I ask, in spirit and wonder of this Christmas season,
would you like to hold the baby?
Long ago, in a faraway land, a man named Joseph was traveling to Bethlehem with his wife, Mary. In those days, all the people in the land were ordered back to their birthplace so they could pay their taxes. And so it was that Joseph was traveling to Bethlehem with his wife, Mary. Walked to Bethlehem, his birthplace.
Mary was pregnant and must have been very uncomfortable riding so long on the donkey's back. She knew she could give birth at any time, maybe even before they arrived in Bethlehem. but she hadn't wanted to stay behind alone. She wanted to be with her husband when their first baby was born, so they made the long journey together.
After several days, they reached their destination, and Joseph immediately began looking for a place to stay. Seeing an inn nearby, he stopped and left Mary outside while looking for lodgings for the night.
Do you have a place my wife and I could stay? Asked Joseph. We've been traveling several days. And my wife is expecting a baby. She's very tired.
Peering over Joseph's shoulder, the innkeeper could see that Mary was probably very close to giving birth. He suggested they stay in his private stable, away from all the noise and confusion of the other travelers already crowding in. Joseph happily accepted the kind man's offer and went to get Mary.
Meanwhile, the innkeeper, his wife, and his younger daughter went ahead of Mary and Joseph to try to make their little stable as presentable as possible.
Then
they began by all their animals out into the yard so there would be more room for their guests.
Then they swept the floor and tied up the manger area, leaving some fresh hay for the baby's bed.
When all was ready, Mary and Joseph entered the clean little stable and made themselves as comfortable as they could. Mary was especially pleased to have this private space, for she sensed that her baby would be born that very night.
Wishing them a comfortable stay, the innkeeper slipped out of the door, leaving his wife to help Mary with the birth. As Mary settled herself in for the night, the little stable girl asked if she could stay too. But her mother said, "This is not the time nor place for a child. Now run along with your father." So the little girl left the stable and reluctantly followed her father home. As the evening wore on, it was clear this would indeed be the night of the baby's birth. And sure enough, within a few hours, Mary, with the help of the innkeeper's wife, gave birth to a lovely baby boy.
Let us sing, O Little Town of Bethlehem.
Stood very quietly outside, as if sensing that some kind of miracle was taking place. And indeed it was, for the birth of any new baby is the greatest of all miracles. But this one seemed particularly special, and the animals were curious, as well as a little restless. They wanted to see what was going on inside. They also wanted to go back to their own stalls where they were used to sleeping. Finally, one of the animals, the donkey, stepped up to the door and nudged it with his nose, trying to get it open. But the innkeeper's wife shouted at him.
"Out, out, you dirty thing. You can't come in here. You're covered in mud and much too smelly to be around a new baby. That goes for the rest of you, too," she said to all the other animals huddled outside. "There isn't room for you here."
But Mary wasn't the least bit bothered by the animals. "It's all right," she said softly. "Let them in. After all, we are in their house. Let them come in and see my beautiful baby."
And so the doors opened, and one by one the animals came into the stable.
Long ago by the stable in Bethlehem town,
All the animals huddled outside on the ground. They were watching and waiting, never making a sound, till a donkey stepped up to the stable. And he said, listen closely, and you be the judge. With my heaviest loads back and forth I have trudged. Now I'm all tired out, you can bet I won't budge, till you let me come into the stable.
Here we go.
Oh, come in. Bring your friends, bring your neighbors, bring your whole family. Oh, come on in. There is room in the stable for everyone.
Ba 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 said the lamb as loud as they dare. It is dark and it's cold and it's scary out here. We will make you a blanket from the coat that we wear, if you let us come into the stable.
Oh, come in. Bring your friends, bring your neighbors, bring your whole family. Oh, come on in. There's room in the stable for everyone.
Then the cow mooed and said, I got out yesterday so the baby could lie in my manger of hay. I don't mind that so much, but now there's nowhere to stay, so I want to come back to the stable. Here we go.
Oh, come in, come in. Bring your friends, bring your neighbors, bring your whole family. Oh, come on in, come in. There is room in the stable for everyone.
Hey, my little cats.
Said the cat, I've been hunting by night and by day, making sure all the mice do not get in the way. But in case you don't know, it's my house anyway, so I plan to return to the stable.
Oh, come in, come in. Bring your friends, bring your neighbors, bring your whole family. Oh, come on in, come in. There is room in the stable for everyone. Said the dove, I will sing you a sweet lullaby. I will carry a message of peace when I fly. But I'm all tired out before I take to the sky, so I have to return to the stable. Oh, come in, come in. Bring your friends, bring your neighbors, bring your whole family. Oh, come on in, come in. There is room in the stable for everyone.
The animals were no sooner settled into their own stalls when in the stable when there appeared at the door a scruffy-looking group of very excited shepherds.
Here it is, one of them shouted as he peered through the half-open doorway. Seeing Mary, he said, "Oh, good lady, please let us come in. We have traveled a great distance, and we have heard a special birth this night, and we have come to see the great miracle for ourselves."
But how did you know? Mary asked. Who told you to come here?
Before the shepherds could answer, the innkeeper, who had seen the group approaching, rushed back to the stable and stepped in front of the door, barring their way.
"Do not let these men in," he shouted to Joseph. "They are lowly shepherds who wandered over the countryside, having no real home. They are very poor and care for no one but themselves. Why, they might even rob you. They're not fit to come in."
But Joseph said to the innkeeper, Good man, I am a lowly carpenter and also poor, like them. They are no better or worse than I, and they certainly don't look dangerous to me. Please step aside and make them welcome.
You could see the man was afraid, but he did as he was told and let the shepherds enter.
One of the shepherds, who seemed eager to talk, said to Mary, "I can tell you how we came here. We were in the fields tending our sheep, when suddenly we saw a great light in the sky, and an angel appeared out of nowhere. We were terribly frightened, but the angel calmed us and said,
Oh! Do not be afraid, for I bring good news for all people. Today in the city of Bethlehem, a child is born who will bring great joy and peace to the world. And this shall be your sign. You will find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger."
So we decided to come to Bethlehem right away to see this great event for ourselves.
Everyone was astonished at what the shepherds told them, oohing and awing at the strange story. But Mary sat quietly, pondering all of these things in her heart.
If we heard the angels sing their song above a starry sky, would we know they came with a message clear, or would we wonder why? Would we have ears to hear the words? Would we have hearts to receive? If we walked the hills the shepherds walked, would we have eyes to see? Would we have eyes to see?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. If we walked the hills the shepherds walked, would we have eyes to see? Would we have eyes to see? The angel said that the road was
Let's start the second verse one more time.
If we angel said that the road was long, would we have heard the call? And if we thought we could lose our way, would we have gone at all? The shepherds put their fear aside and search on love yet to be. If we found the place the shepherds found, would we have eyes to see? Would we have eyes to see? Hallelujah, hallelujah. If we walked the hills the shepherds walked, would we have eyes to see? Would we have eyes to see? If we found the manger cold and dark,
Everyone.
and heard a baby cry, would we feel the warmth of his precious child and sing a lullaby? And if we held us with his eyes, would we have faith to believe? If we saw the things the shepherds saw, would we have eyes to see? Would we have eyes to see? Hallelujah, hallelujah. If we saw the things the shepherds saw, would we have eyes to see? Would we have eyes to see?
Not long after the shepherds entered the stable, another group appeared at the door. There were 3 of them, and it was obvious they were not from Bethlehem.
They were riding on camels, and they wore long, elegant robes and strange hats, almost like crowns on their heads.
They must have come from some country in the east, for no one in the area dressed this way. The shepherds eyed them suspiciously.
May we come in? Asked one of the three, who seemed to be some kind of sage or priest. The shepherds seemed very uneasy, and before Joseph could answer, one of them said, "Kind sir, you must not let these people in. They are not Jews like us, they are foreigners. Who knows who they are or where they come from? You can see by their clothing that they look very strange. And surely you know they are not to be trusted."
But Joseph said, "It is true they look different from us, and perhaps have different ways. But I see no harm in that. Please welcome them into our little stable."
So the three travelers who were called Magi or wise ones stepped into the stable.
"We have come a great distance from the east," said the first Magi. "We are astrologers, studying the stars and their movements. And recently we noticed a star of brilliance. It seems to be shining, almost hovering over a particular place. So we followed the star, thinking we would find something very important. And so we have. We see a special baby is born this night, and we have brought gifts to honor him."
Each of the Magi stepped forward and laid down a gift, kneeling at the foot of the manger as they did so. One brought gold, one brought a type of incense called frankincense, and the last one brought myrrh, often used as incense or medicine.
Our cows and sheep are very excited.
Chicken.
3 wise ones came with gifts for a child. They traveled from country afar, knowing the heavens would show them the way. They followed a shining star. Followed a shining star.
And everyone, here we go.
Follow the star of the night, star of wonder, star so bright. Offer your gifts, whatever they are. Be not afraid, follow the star. And we come to with gifts of our own, as rich as precious as gold. Gifts of the Spirit and gifts of the heart, offering wealth untold, offering wealth untold. Follow the star of the night, star of wonder, star so bright. Offer your gifts, whatever they are. Be not afraid, follow the star. The gift of love is greatest of all, embracing our joy and our pain. Sorrow may bend us and fear hold us down, but love will arise again. Love will arise again. Follow the star of the night, star of wonder, star so bright. Offer your gifts, whatever they are. Be not afraid, follow the star. Follow the star of the night, follow, 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 follow.
"We shall leave you now," said one of the Magi, "for we can see you are tired, and we have found what we've been seeking. And we thank you for accepting our gifts. We feel honored to have been here on this night, and for we know your son will grow up to become a great and wise leader."
And with that, they turned and disappeared into the night. Sensing it was time for them to leave as well, the shepherds and the innkeeper's wife tiptoed out of the stable so as not to wake the sleeping babe. Even the animals drifted away to their own separate stalls. They were tired and in need of good sleep themselves.
Mary and Joseph looked lovingly at their new baby. "What shall we name him?" Mary asked. "I was thinking we might call him Jesus, but what do you think?"
Joseph nodded and smiled, agreeing it would be a fine name. But now we should get some sleep, Joseph said. You stay here. I'll go over to one of the other stalls where there is more room for me to make a bed. As he left, he gently touched Mary's shoulder, smiling at her and his newborn child.
Mary was tired but unable to sleep. What was so special about this night, about this child, she wondered. We are poor people from humble families. What is it that makes my baby so special? And if he is so special, what is expected of me as his mother? Mary picked up her baby and gazed into his beautiful eyes, as if looking for an answer there. As she pondered these questions, she heard a small creaking noise, the sound of a stable door quietly opening. Mary turned to see that the stable girl had come back, eager for the glimpse of the new baby.
In the stillness of the morning, as Mary rocked her babe, a little girl slipped quietly inside. She had come to see the stable. She had come to sweep the floor. She had come to see the face of the newborn child.
Mary saw her watching from behind the cattle stall and beckoned her toward the manger bed. Eyes like wonder, she came to where he lay, and Mary smiled at her and softly said, "Would you like to hold the baby
quietly together for several moments, Mary reached out to take the baby back. The little girl smiled, her face radiant with all the joy and love that she was feeling inside. She knew she would never forget this night, nor would Mary. And although she could not know where his life would eventually take him, she did know Jesus was very special and one day be an important leader. But for now, Mary's path was clear. She would care for him, love him, and cheer him. For in her heart, she knew that he was not hers alone to hold.
Jesus did indeed grow up to become very important to the world. He was a great teacher and important spiritual leader. He was also a true friend to the poor and the powerless, believing that all people deserve to be treated with kindness and respect. And so each year we celebrate the birth of Jesus as Christmas time, eager for the joy and hope that belongs to this season. For long ago, in a faraway land, this message of love, peace, and goodwill to all people spoke to those who had ears to hear and hearts to receive, just as it continues to speak to us today.
Let us sing Silent Night.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is light. Round your virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds playing at the side, glory streaming from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace.
This concludes our pageant, and I think Eden and Maggie have words to say.
All right. This question, would you like to hold the baby, is an invitation to open your heart to all the Christmas season has to offer. It is an invitation to embrace what is most sacred in your life. It is an invitation clearly meant for everyone. As Eden extinguishes the chalice this morning, let us carry in our hearts the flame of peace, love, goodwill that is a miracle of all of Christmas. For the story is universal, and this baby belongs to us all. Love and joy come to you, and a glad Christmas too. We will end this service with a delightful carol.
And I invite you to rise in body and or spirit as we sing Here We Come A-Caroling.
Sorry, I called you Eve.
Here we go.
Here we come a-caroling along the leaves so green. Here we come a-wandering so fair to be seen. Love and joy come to you, and to you at Christmas too. Take God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. We are not daily beggars who beg from door to door, but we are neighbors' children who you have seen before. Love and joy come to you, and to you at Christmas too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year.
I'll get to wait first.